Well, I've been told now that Lagos has questions for you.
Good.
Yeah, Mr. Adesina, I mean, the last time you were here, you did tell us that you were not speaking directly with the president, but through proxies, third party. Are you in direct conversation with him now that warranted releasing that statement?
No, it's a matter of my personal decision and choice and style. All those I speak with, his personal physician, his PA, his domestic aide, I can tell them, please take this phone to Mr. President. I want to talk with him. Knowing Mr. President, he will speak with me. But I have decided not to because I do not need that phone conversation to authenticate the health of Mr. President. There is enough authentication. There is one from the acting president, there is from the Senate president, there is from speakers of representatives, and many others. And the president himself in the communication yesterday says, no cause for worry, no cause for alarm. So I do not need to authenticate the state of health of Mr. President by asking to speak with him. If he says, yes, let me speak with Adesina, I'll speak with him, quite all right. But I do not need to then begin to go out of my way to say, I must speak with him.
In other words, you keep giving us what? Third-party information about the state of health of the president?
That is correct. I never claimed that it was direct. Never at any time did I claim that it was direct from him. Last time I came here, I told you that I speak with people around him every day, and that is the position. As I yesterday, I still spoke with those people.
You said in one of the statements, pardon me, Mark, you said in one of the statements, I think yesterday or previously, that the president cannot be hijacked for an interview. And you know, in this job of ours, people want to hear directly from the man himself at this stage, especially now that all of this is making the rounds. Since he can't be hijacked for an interview, would you, Mr. Adesina, then schedule an interview with Mr. President so that we can then come in and have that interview with him so he can speak to Nigerians?
There are many forms of communication. At the risk of Malpe saying we are back to English language again, there are many forms of communication. There is written, there is visual, there is verbal, there is non-verbal. Many forms of communication. One form of communication was the one employed yesterday. It was a written communication. It's also a non-verbal communication. Any of those forms of communication can be used. Where you quoted that I said the president couldn't be hijacked was a reporter had asked me yesterday that the correspondent of a certain newspaper wanted to go and talk to the president at Abuja House, and he was harassed. And then I said I didn't consider that to be an harassment. If there was an harassment, it was even the other way around. Because when you want to talk to a president, you don't ambush him on the way. Not in all situations and circumstances, particularly not in this circumstance. You can't just ambush the president on the way. You need to schedule it properly.
Additional, I understand the importance of protecting Mr. President from the press, if you will. And I also understand the importance of your job and how responsive you should be to the questions that Nigerians are asking. But beyond that, one would have expected that at this time, your office would have been able to schedule some form of communication, as you put it, just so that Mr. President is able to talk to Nigerians on the one hand, and to make your job, which seems quite difficult at this time, much easier. What next would you be doing to ensure that there is a proper visual appearance of Mr. President?
When you talk of visual appearance, there have been many. I heard Sam saying that not too many people believe. I tell you that even if you put Mr. President before a camera and you interview him, a lot of people will say, oh, it's his spitting image. It's not the president. When people are inclined to be pessimistic, to be cynical, what then can you do? But then the time will come when Mr. President will speak, and it will be a verbal communication. There was a communication yesterday which I described as non-verbal. But talking of verbal communication, yes, the time will come.
Mr. Adesina, don't you?
Perhaps you should adopt or try to see that you have a video recording of Mr. President, because we've not seen any of that. Perhaps this will help Nigerians to be on the same page with you.
Well, if they will believe, but I'd rather that we believe, just like I said yesterday again, I'd rather that we believe our president, whom we know to be a honest and straightforward person. I'd rather that we believe him than begin to seek signs and evidences.
Now, there is a very strong biblical connection. We're not at the time of, this is not the case of Jesus Christ and
saying
Thomas.
An evil and adulterous generation seeks a sign.
I sincerely hope that's not, the reference that you're making. Because you must appreciate the fact that, we have a history. And there's been precedents for this, where Nigerians, were at a loss in terms of what was happening with their president, and for a long period of time, some certain people, shrouded the president's health in secrecy until eventually the president passed. And I think that it's not too far away history. It's very, very recent history. And, we must be able to appreciate where it is a lot of Nigerians are coming from. You have said that your information is third-party information. You have also said that you communicate what the president wants you to communicate. Now, how are you even sure that you are communicating what the president wants you to communicate when you're not speaking with him directly?
It depends on the kind of person you are speaking for. If I know that I'm speaking for a shifty and sneaky fellow, then I will not trust what is communicated to me. But I know the person I'm speaking for. I know he is straightforward. This is a president that does not want you to color anything on his behalf.
So you are doing your job based on belief?
Oh, belief is part of it. If I don't believe in him, I wouldn't be doing the job in the first place. If I don't believe in him, I wouldn't take the job. It's because I believed in him that I took the job.
So you are sure that the people whom you're speaking with are also transmitting to you what precisely is happening with Mr. President?
Oh, we that are his personal aides are like family. We are not only friends, we are colleagues and all that. I believe what is transmitted to me 100%.
So perhaps you can afford to, because you took up a job and you said you took up your job, based partly on belief.
Yes.
But Nigerians, yes, they believed in Mr. President, but they also saw a physical sign of a president of a man who was fit and who toured the country and asked for their vote. So if they are beginning to ask him, for more than signs, for signs, if you want to put it that way, in terms of, what his state of health is, are they asking for too much?
No, there is something that is also called suspension of disbelief. Suspension of disbelief. What we're asking for is let Nigerians, some who don't believe, should suspend their disbelief for a short time. And then the president will.
Just a moment now. Yeah. You are special advisor to the president on media and publicity.
Sure.
You're not just his mouthpiece. You also advise in terms of, what strategies to use. Would you say this is the best strategy you've employed so far?
There are many strategies at any given time. But the strategy you adopt is based on the exigencies of the time. The exigencies of this time determine what strategy we are using now. When Mr. President was leaving, January 19, it was a private visit, and that was why I was not on the
You would appreciate a bit more on the strategy when we return from this little break. Do stay with us.